A fundamental aspect in any story promising to be chock full of pirates should have some interesting crews, and One Piece is not a series that disappoints in this aspect. One thing that I like the most about the crews in this series is the fact that pretty much every single one has a theme. Some of them are overt, like the Buggy Pirates and their circus theme, or Kuro and their Black Cat Pirates. Some are a little bit more subtle, like the Heart Pirates and their Arctic Animal theme. Another thing that I find fascinating about the crews in One Piece is that every single one is unique in one way or another. It's almost like every single aspiring pirate captain knew they had to come up with some sort of gimmick to make them stand out, and then they had to research other crews around the world to make sure they didn't accidentally steal their gimmick. And then there are ideas that are just too outlandish for any sane person to think up, let alone believe they'll work. For example, there's probably only one woman in the entire One Piece world that was like, you know what, I'm going to have 4C fun time with every race of man on Earth, have their children, and raise them to be underlings on my crew. Speaking of which, let's talk about the Big Mom Pirates. The Big Mom Pirates are a crew that consists mostly of Big Mom's children, of which there are 85. Jesus Christ, those poor men. Now, despite the fact that much of this crew is biologically family, seeing this crew in action doesn't remind one of family once you look beneath the surface. Yes, the siblings do cooperate with one another, but it seems they mostly do so out of necessity. Some of the children actually hate each other with an intense passion. The twins Dulce and Drage once said they wanted to kill their sister Anana one day. Most of them only seem to stick around because they're forced to, and if it wasn't for the terrifying might of their mother, they'd all be living their own lives. Heck, one of the Charlotte children actually managed to escape her family out of his desire to live her own life and find her own love. And despite having her shadow stolen and essentially being trapped for years on Thriller Bark, she still seems rather content with her life, at least more so than her siblings, who remain as members of the Big Mom Pirates. The Big Mom herself seems to only care about her children when they do her bidding, so overall, if you find yourself venturing your way out into the world from Lin Lin's Coochis Magna Goochis, despite some fun times on an island full of desserts, you're pretty much destined for a life of misery. In contrast to this, Luffy chooses his crew, and his crew chooses him. Whereas Big Mom's family is forced and arranged, the Straw Hats are a group that came together out of love and appreciation for each other and a desire to travel the seas together. No one on the crew was forced to join. Absolutely no one. Another contrast to Big Mom is the Whitebeard crew. One of the motifs of the Whitebeard pirates is family, but a large majority of them actually have no relation to each other, and yet these pirates probably all have a tighter bond than any other crew in the entire One Piece world. Similar to how all the Big Mom pirates call their captain Mama because, well, she's their mama, the Whitebeard pirates all call their captain Oyaji, or Pops. They do this out of sheer respect for the man, who goes around looking for young pirates without families, taking them in and making them part of his family. The Whitebeard crew, along with the 40-plus allied crews, would do anything for their pops and their brothers. Every single member showed up during the Marineford War, with the eventual number being 1,617. They all arrived in an attempt to save just one of their brothers, and they were all willing to die to ensure that goal was achieved. It wasn't on screen, but I'm sure a wonderful homegoing celebration followed, and at least you tried cake was had by all. Next, I want to talk about the Beast Pirates. This crew has an animal motif, the captain of which, the Kaido, has probably the second craziest gimmick in the entire series. Kaido's goal is to have every member of his crew be the bearer of a zone-type devil fruit. Now, there's a couple of eensy-weensy, little bitty problems here. Devil fruits are pretty rare, and even if you do get one, you're essentially opening up an anime superpower loot box, unless you have a devil fruit encyclopedia, unless the devil fruit has never been documented. Oh yeah, and there's also the whole fact that Kaido's crew consists of over 20,000. But Kaido stuck to this dream. If he couldn't find 20,000 devil fruits, then by God, he was going to get 20,000 devil fruits made for him. So he makes some phone calls with a brilliant scientist or two, as well as a government-appointed criminal mastermind, and bam, he's got Smiles. The artificial devil fruits with the minor side effect of basically you're under the effect of Joker gas for the rest of your life. The way I see it, Kaido's crew stands out against the other emperors in that it functions more as a whole organization, not just as a pirate crew. The Beast Pirates have connections all over the world's criminal underground. Big Mom's got something similar to this, but it comes primarily in the form of arranged marriages with her children. Kaido drops the pretenses of love and relationships and gets straight down to business. This seems to be more successful, as it appears Kaido has more reach in the criminal underground. But there is little to no personal connection between any of the crew members. Even in the sort of higher up characters, like King and Queen and Jack, they all seem to have a mindset of, you're a massive fuck up and I'll be there to finish whatever you failed at doing to one another. Kaido sits at the top of it all as Supreme Commander or Governor General, apparently acting unconcerned with the lack of emotional closeness anyone in the crew has. Ironically, however, this very thing the crew is lacking just might be the thing that Kaido needs the most in his life. If he had a genuine, true friend, he probably wouldn't be constantly drinking his misery away, nor would he be attempting suicide all the time. Kaido is nearly there at the top of the world, yet he has no one to share the experience with, despite the thousands of men he's got working for him. Against these crews, the Straw Hats stand out quite a bit. If you don't count the Grand Fleet, Luffy's crew is minute compared to the others. On top of that, there isn't much organization amongst its members either. Whitebeard's crew has its divisions. Big Mom's got the Sweet Commanders, the officers and the combatants. Kaido's crew's got the All-Stars, the Tobiroppo, the Headliners, the Gifters, and the others. Luffy's crew has Zoro, Sanji, Nami, Usopp, Chopper, Robin, Frankie, Brook, and Jinbei. There aren't any subdivisions or anything like that, and on top of this, these other Emperor's crews aren't built mostly for strength, while Luffy's crew is built with the idea that anyone that wants to come along can come along. Despite this, Luffy is still the 5th Emperor, and some of you might say you don't like the idea, but that's how it is. If you do count the Grand Fleet, Luffy's crew is actually bigger than both Whitebeard's and Big Mom's, possibly combined. Furthermore, the Emperor system is not really a system like the Warlord system is. The Emperors are the Emperors based partly on their immense power and partly on their clout. Since Luffy has been making tremendous waves on the world around him since entering the Grand Line, and since Big News Morgans blew the whole cake incident out of proportions in the papers, his clout has managed to override his power, placing him at Emperor status. I think the reason Oda did this was to show how much closer Luffy is to becoming Pirate King, but to also let us know that there's still quite a ways to go. With every week, the endgame approaches nearer and nearer, and I, for one, am very excited to see what happens next. This video was made in collaboration with Down the Weeble Hole. Feel free to go subscribe to them so you can see their video of the crew dynamics of the Roger Pirates, the Red Hair Pirates, and the Blackbeard Pirates. Also, feel free to check out my Discord and my Twitter, where I post shorter videos and shitposts. Links to all that in the description.